Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 15 of shift tracking the local South Jersey real estate market. And today I have added in two super cool graphs. They're not that cool, but they should do a little bit of a better job telling the story of what's been happening with all this data. So these first 15 weeks have just been about getting the data in. We haven't really been able to find a lot of trend lines up until this point because we've just sort of been taking it week by week, and we're just gathering that information and doing the best we can with it. But the two graphs that I made for us today are on the two most important metrics that we've been tracking here along this series, which are total active listings, which I have here in blue, and then the median list price, which is down here in red. So this is probably the number one thing that we are talking about on a national, regional, local standpoint. And it's pretty easy to tell. Now, this week, we have the lowest total active listings we've had all year, okay? 1,075 in the Burlington, Camden, Gloucester, 900 and under. And we can see that over here in the blue, right? Week 1, week 2, week 3, we were kind of hanging out up here, close, almost hitting that 1,600 listing mark in the week 2 of January. And it has been a fairly steady decline every single week after that. And I don't really see this turning around anytime soon, unless, again, Fed changes the interest rates. There's some other major economic development. This is what the Fed has wanted to have happen, is to spur, calm down, slow down, whatever you want to call it, spending and the movement of all goods across the economy, and housing is no different. Now, with that, they can do all they want to try and spur it, but the buyer demand has still been there, and we're seeing now it's not as quite exacting of a trend line as we saw with the total active listings. But when we look at this total, or the median list price, and we come down here to our week 15 total for this week, it's 320,000. That's tied with week 13 as the highest median list price that we've had all year. So our prices are going up, our supply is going down. We've talked basic econ on this multiple times. And I think it should be no surprise also that we're at the lowest median volume that we've been at all year. We're at 369, and I believe we were up close to, what were we at, 524 that week 2, and now we're at 369. So a pretty big drop off there in terms of our overall value. But here's what I want to offer to you today for anybody that's listening to this call. Now, as we look at this, you're either one of two people. You're going to be a buyer or a seller, or potentially both. And the biggest concern that a lot of buyers have is, what happens if I get into a multiple offer situation? That's a very real possibility. If a realtor is meeting with a buyer right now who says, I don't really want to get into a bidding war with any house, that unfortunately is just not the case unless you want to go new construction. New construction, D.R. Horton is a big builder in our area. They're really great. The problem is the purchase time is almost 5 months out, because before, the new construction used to be selling when they had framing up and sheetrock and plumbing and electric all done, and they were just going to finishes. And now they're selling these lots and selling these homes pre-framing. So before there has ever been a piece of wood put on this property, it's sold for complete top dollar. Now, there are some incentives when you do new construction. If you end up going with the builder financing, a lot of times they will give you a fairly substantial credit towards your closing costs by going with them. Obviously, you can use your own lender if you want, but a lot of times those incentives make a lot of sense, and they reduce the overall spend for the buyer moving in. But what I want to offer is, I have, from the National Association of Realtors and what we use as far as an educational platform, we have a guide to multiple offers, how to navigate that, both from a buyer and from a seller perspective. So it's like 4 or 5 pages. I'm happy to review it with anybody if you'd like to actually work down the list, or if you just want me to send it to you, real easy. Just either shoot me a text, 609-315-1848, or I believe you can find my email below right underneath of this video on the dub screen, which is connortuck@kw.com. So if anybody's interested in that, I'm happy to just send that to you as a one-off. Here you go. You can read it. You can digest it. You can just take it and store it away. You can ask any questions on it. We can sit down and have a buyer consultation over similar, Google conferencing, where I'll be sitting in this room in my home office talking to you guys about it. So, guys, not much else to report to you this week. It's sort of the trend we've been seeing all year. And again, unless we see a major development in the interest rate or another economic output, this is what we're going to be looking at. right? Again, I think back to, our price is going to be coming down or anything like that. They might come down if we see this blue line turn around significantly. But right now, we are just trending down and down and down in total active listings. And until we see a significant change in that going the other way around, this is what we're in at the moment. So understanding if you are a need to move person, right? We have want to move and need to move. The want to moves are, oh, I've been here for 5-6 years. We're considering moving to a slightly bigger house, or we're considering moving to a slightly smaller house. Maybe. If you've bought in the last 10 years, you probably have an interest rate under 4.5%. And it just doesn't make sense for you to make that change right now unless you feel like the large amount of equity that you've gained over this price increase time is worth it. But then you're going to be buying top of the market. It's up to you. It really is. But it's the need to move people who still have to move. We have job relocations, we have death, we have divorce, destruction, all sorts of different reasons, right? Kids graduating, kids being born, all sorts of different reasons where we have need to move people. If you're a need to move person, you're going to be entering this market. And I want to make sure that you have all the tools at your disposal when you go to enter this market so you can do so confidently and efficiently, and to not overspend if you're going to be a buyer, and to make sure you get the top dollar as a seller. So anyway, that's it for week 15. Hope to see you next week, week 16. We're going to keep an eye on some interest rates. I know the Fed may be meeting again here in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to chat with my lender on that. They did meet somewhat recently, so we'll see if there's another update. But as of now, trend lines continue. Let's just hope that our total active listings don't dip below 1,000. All right, y'all. Have a good week. I would say stay warm, but it's actually starting to get warm outside, so stay cool this week. Talk to y'all soon.